intimidation, or bullying. How do you expect to have a tenant-centric environment when you constantly put tenants down or enable them or condone uncivil behavior? You have nearly 15,000 seniors in your portfolio, but you never mention the word senior. The word senior, to some of you, is like having a dirty word on the tip of your tongue. You do not acknowledge all your senior tenants that volunteer or go out on your committees, so those that help others. No, you gear your energies to youth, and I know watching kids go off to camp or playing ball is much more exciting than watching us. But you would be entirely surprised on what seniors can do and teach you on living life and having a good time, how to engage tenants and bring isolated tenants out of their apartments. You have free services from us and you kick us down whenever you can. You know how to put up the barriers, but very few of you know how to work collaboratively with us. Your newspaper, now called The Loop, does not even mention seniors. In fact, when a tenant inquired why, the response was, well, this month we did have a picture and some words of a senior. Excuse me, you are offering a token. The real reason was that she sits on the committee of Tenants First. Some time ago, an offer was made to communications that seniors blurb or column be in every TCHC paper. In fact, the offer was made by members of Seniors Voice when we met with Mr. Malik. It was even stated that we would be prepared to provide all the material for the column. We never once. We were proposing that the column be called Helpful Hints for Tenants. The material would be helpful to all tenants of any age, except for a few items that might be geared specifically to seniors. Stop calling us bullies, because we are assertive and will not tolerate being spoken to as if we are senile or have the mentality of a 4-year-old child. Do not try to shove an engagement model down our throats that worked in a community of younger people. Please sit down and ask us what we want and what we need, not a phony meeting saying that the tenants are creating the model. Many of us attend your committees to be kept in the loop and see what nonsense is coming down the pike. Just yesterday, I had occasion to speak to our CEO, Kathy Milson, and the Director of Tenant Services, William Mendes. Because of these conversations, I have a dream and a hope that all tenants will finally be treated with respect and fairness, and the engagement model will be fair and honest. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask William. We have your deputation as well. Your long deputation. No, I was talking to William. William, you gave us a whole thesis proposal, and it's appreciated.
Can you hear me? There it is. No, there it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I guess I have to be really close. Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to present my thoughts and concerns, and they are respectfully submitted for consideration by this panel. Today, I want to speak to a fundamental issue that I feel presents a continuous layer of interference to meaningful and principled model of engagement with honest tenant inclusivity. You've all been given a copy of my full deputation, along with a number of articles that elucidate my concern. I feel that I should preface my critique that within the miasma of residential services operations from a tenant's perspective, there are those whose honest commitment to the responsibilities need to be recognized and appreciated by Toronto Housing. And I can tell you that tenants know who these individuals are, and they sincerely appreciate the respect and the acknowledgement that they receive from them. our CEO, Kathy Milsom, her tenant-centric philosophy has started a new approach towards communicating with Toronto housing tenants, and I feel it is worth fighting for. You rarely hear tenants trumpeting the proactive and dynamic engagement of residential services, and there is a reason. And no, we're not bullying or picking on you, as some CSCs, managers, and even directors have asserted directly and indirectly. To the contrary, there's a culture of fear that permeates residential services, and I purposely use residential because it more aptly describes the apparent mindset that would justify the layers of bullying that residents are subjected to, and a blatant disregard for job responsibilities as well as the employee code of conduct. It's difficult to understand the recalcitrance of a department tasked with tenant communication and engagement, yet seems unable and unwilling to adapt to change. Even in the face of the edict for the tenant involvement by the mayor's task force and the tenant-centric direction of our CEO. You cannot provide good service to a client if you don't understand their goals and their market, and you're unwilling to step foot in their neighborhood. The involvement of tenant input during the early stages of the new engagement development model would help mitigate costly miscalculations moving forward that would further impede housing's engagement and communications goals. The importance of a tenant's perspective during the development of the new model, and the importance of communication, accountability, and transparency are all needed in order to generate buzz and to improve tenant buy-in. It's overtly obvious that residential services has not been interested in any dialogue that questions their actions. We repeatedly hear tenants decided this as a rationale for continually validating a reinstitution of staff-driven agendas to maintain a comfortable status quo of unaccountability and questionable actions that lead tenants into abdigating their best interests on issues that affect their residency and ultimately their rights. It's been stated too many times that you treat us like we're children. And it appears to me today that the child is residential services. And this time, they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. So, we keep repeating the same things over and over again. And it appears that it takes particular instances to really make people open their ears. So I hope that moving forward that we can all get on board our CEO's tenant-centric philosophy and program and work together to make the communication effective and to make sure that tenants are satisfied with their living conditions and their lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well,
And our last deputant, you're giving us a lot of food for thought, is Marcel. Robert, mute your phone. We're getting some feedback on one of the phones on the line.
Robert, mute your phone. We know it's you.
I'm okay.
Hear it now?
Thank you.
Is it working?
Yes.
Okay.
Speak and then we can tell.
Okay. I just want to comment on the tenant engagement refresh with regards to the future of TCHC, because I think that if we are to really address the into tenant engagement refresh, we also have to look at what the proposed tenant first proposal is doing to TCHC. I represent SET, Save Improved Toronto Community Housing Corporation, and we were founded in response to Tenants First, and I was also a member of the Tenant Charter Advisory Committee. I think what we have to really understand is if we are to have TCHC being split off with a senior portfolio of 5,000 units, we would lose our economies of scale, ultimately making TCHC financially weaker. Weaker would result in more private management of buildings and in hiring, maintaining less support staff to help with our vulnerable tenants. And in the long run, it wouldn't be economically feasible to sustain union staff in the new senior portfolio, though the city presently has a successor agreement with CUPE. This goes against all the benefits of amalgamation. This weaker sort of TCHC financially would result in hiring and maintaining this kind of residential staff that we need and to continue to strengthen the engagement process. Furthermore, there are no specified transparency and accountability